Hi everyone! Welcome to Xcoding with Alvian. In this video, we're going to build a GPT Tokenizer SwiftUI app. So, what is a GPT token? GPT models used by OpenAI consume unstructured text, which is represented as a series of tokens. Basically, the text that we send when making ChatGPT API calls will be converted into tokens, and the number of tokens will determine the number of billing that we need to pay for using the API. With this app, we can use it to understand how a piece of text will be tokenized by the API and the total count of tokens. The processing is done locally on the client side without the need to make any remote API calls. So it works offline without internet connection. So that's the short introduction. And without further ado, let's begin the implementation and start coding. First, let me show you this GPTEncoder Swift library that I created. So this is basically based on the OpenAI Python official API as well for tokenizing, and the GPT-3 encoder for the Node.js. And it provides a programmatic interface for the tokenizing text for the OpenAI GPT API. Let me show you. So it supports SPM and CocoaPods. So you can also include this in your project. And we can simply initialize this encoder, and we can invoke this encode method, passing the string that we want to encode into array of tokens. So this is the array of tokens. So basically the number of elements in the array will be the total number of tokens that will be accounted to your billing when calling the ChatGPT API. And also we have that this token array, we can decode it back to the original string, passing this to the decode method. So if you see here, passing this array will return the GPT family of model process text using tokens. This is the text that we pass in the encode method. So that is the introduction of the GPTEncoder Swift library that we are going to use in our tokenizer app. And so this is the OpenAI tokenizer. That this is a web app that you can use to also tokenize. So basically you give a text, and then it will basically provide you the number of tokens that will be accounted when you make a call to the ChatGPT API passing this text. So we are going to create a native Swift and SwiftUI application. Okay. And as a starter project, we are going to use this SwiftUI ChatGPT iOS app. We are going to include the tokenizer screen inside this application. So you can go to this tab, ChatGPT Tokenizer Starter. So select this, and then just download the project from here, and then open the Xcode Pouch. Okay. So now let me just open this. I already opened this starter project. This is the XCAChatGPT starter project. For this tokenizer screen, we are going to implement this only for the iOS target for now. So this XCAChatGPT folder in here, this is the iOS target. This is specific to the iOS app. And this XCAChatGPT abstract is the main entry point for the iOS target. Okay. So inside this XCAChatGPT folder, create a new SwiftUI view. Give it a name of tokenizer view, and make sure to only check the XCAChatGPT. This is the iOS target, right? Okay. Cannot preview this file. So what we need to do is change the scheme to the XCAChatGPT. This is the iOS target. Select iPhone 14 Pro, and then there we have the preview. Okay. Yeah, I think this looks good. And now let's put a navigation stack inside the preview. And inside the body, I want to use a list for the root. Let me just move this text inside the list for now. And I want to give a navigation title of GPT Tokenizer. Okay, looks good. Now let's begin by creating the observable object, the view model. So inside this folder as well, it's a ChatGPT folder, create a new Swift file, give it a name of Tokenizer View Model. Okay, let's go to check XCAChatGPT as the target. Okay, we have the Tokenizer View Model. So inside this Tokenizer View Model, first I want to import combine. You will see later why we will need to import this combine. Okay, and next one is import SwiftUI for sure, right? You need to access the observable object. And now we also need to import the GPT encoder inside here, but we haven't added the dependency. So let's add the dependency in here. So select file and then add packages in here from the menu bar. And what you need to do is just to select this repository and then copy it, paste it in here. Okay. It will give this GPT encoder and then click next. So add package. Make sure it uses the latest 103 version. Okay, because in the previous version there are some issues with the decoder. Okay, now we have this GPT encoder added as the SPN dependency. What we can do now is just import GPT encoder. Okay, let's try to build first. Okay, the build succeeded. Let's just create a class tokenizer view model for the name and make it conform to the observable object protocol. And for now, I'm just going to make it unchecked sendable. Okay. This needs to be a lowercase unchecked. And now let's add a tokenizer and then initialize the GPT encoder from here. Okay. Now we have the encoder, the tokenizer. I'm going to declare several published property. The first one is for the text field, the input text field. I'm going to give the name of input text and assign it to the default value of empty string. Second one, to represent the output of the tokenizer, I want to create a new struct. Okay, let's just put it in here for now. Token output for the name. So I want to include the original strings, the property, and string tokens. This will be an array of string. Okay, and tokens, this will be an array of integer. Okay, so we have three properties for the output: the text, string tokens, and tokens. Okay, we will show them the output section inside the list. Okay, now let's create a second published property, give it a name of output, and set the type as token output optional. Okay, and publish var. The third one is tokenizing. Just want to have a Boolean value to determine whether we are tokenizing the value or not. We are going to move the tokenizing process in another thread. It's not going to be executed on the main thread. Okay, so we need to have a Boolean, and then we can show maybe a progress indicator, right, whether it's still processing the tokenizing. So default value is false for sure. The fourth one is published var output type. Okay, so we will have a segmented control where the user can select whether to display the string tokens and the tokens, the integer tokens. Okay, so for this I'm going to declare an enum output type. Let's make it conform to the init variable now, so it can help us later when we want to put it in the SwiftUI picker. Okay, and we have two cases, text and token IDs. Okay, so we have to declare the ID. We just provide the self as a type and then return self, the instance. Okay, the output type, the default value will be output type text. Okay, let's build. Okay, we have all the published properties. Next one is I'm going to declare a cancelables. Just put it initialize a set with the type of any cancelable. This is a combined cancelable. Okay, so basically we are going to use combine to listen to the stream of events from this input text. Okay, and then we will apply the bounds operator. So there will be like a delay of like a 0.3 seconds before it's processing the token. Okay, we are going to use combine operator for that. So it's going to be a reactive. We won't have any tokenized manual button that user press, right? So let me show you an example, right? So if you see this tokenizer from the OpenAI, so there's no button, right, to tokenize. You can just simply type and then it will reactively process the tokens inside here. So this is the things that we are going to achieve as well. We won't have a manual tokenize button. Okay, it will be all reactive. But in this case, we will apply as 0.3 the bounds, right? So we won't have every character. We will basically apply it if user doesn't type after 0.3 seconds. Okay, nice, right? So next one is task. Okay, I'm just going to declare a task and the type is on void and never. So basically I want to utilize Swift task cancelable to cancel a task in case there's a new string to be tokenized, right, while the one still in process. Okay, now let's create an initializer and let's create a func start observe, and I'm going to invoke the start observe inside the init. Okay, now let's create this input text. Okay, so this will access the combined publisher. This will publish every character, new character, whenever the user type, whenever this input text change, right, this string. So access the publisher, and then first I want to apply a filter operator, right? So in case it is it's not empty, then I will continue. Then I will apply the bounds, okay, for 0.3 seconds, and I'm going to just execute it in the UI thread. Okay, continuing on, I'm going to receive the value using sync, and in here I want to add weak self for the 10th cycle because this is a reference type, right? You need to be careful with that in the Swift. It's an automatic reference counting based language, right? It's not garbage collected. And let's just use guard let self equal to self else return. Okay, and I think we can remove this equal self, right? I think this is in Swift 5.5 or 5.7. We don't need to use the equal self. Okay, so this also works. Let's make this one liner, this guard. Okay, right, no issue with that. And we're going to store this inside the cancelables. Okay, so whenever this object got initialized, this cancelable will also get allocated, right? So it will automatically cancel this published operation, the observation to this publisher. Okay, next I want to access the task and then cancel it if there's an ongoing task in progress. Next one, I want to also test if the input text is empty, right? So in here we observe the value that come in here, but there's a possibility that inside here the self is already have updated. Okay, because we applied the bounds. Okay, we have to check. We don't want to process in case that is empty. Just return, and I'm going to create a function tokenize with a parameter of text as the string. I'm going to basically invoke self the task. Okay, and then I'm going to kick an async task in here. I'm going to make this function async. Okay, I'm going to invoke await self the tokenize passing the value. value in here. Okay, there we go. And now let me think, should I pass the value? I think in here let's also check, right, if the self input text is empty and value is not equal with the self.input text. So in case it is not equal, let's just return. Okay, so probably there is a new event guiding published, right? Maybe the string has changed. Okay, we have this. Now continuing on, I want to listen also to these events. So let's create another cancelable publish observation. So in case it is empty, right, I just want to sync receive the value and self. Let's ignore the parameter, and basically here I'm just going to animate using with animation and basically set the output to nil. So whenever the input text is empty, we're going to just remove the output. Okay, it means there's a new output needs to be processed, and I'm going to store it in the cancelables. We pass the pointer in here. Okay, now let's just implement the tokenized async function. So in here, I'm just going to check if the task is cancelled. I'm just going to return, and I want to kick a task main actor in here. So I'm going to also animate in here and set we have to be careful here. We need to put weak self as well. So I'm going to set it is tokenizing is true. So it means begin tokenizing. And next one is we can declare let tokens and then invoke tokenizer dot encode passing the text to be tokenized. And next, let's also get the string tokens by invoking tokens. So that is the array of tokens integer, and we're going to invoke map. In here we can invoke tokenizer dot decode passing an array with a single element of the element that we are currently looping the map. Okay, so now we have this tokens array of integer, and then we have the string tokens array of string. Task weak self, I think I need to move this main actor declaration first before the weak self. Okay, the build succeeded. Okay, so this will run actually in the background thread. It will not execute in the main thread. Okay, and then in here, before we update the output, right, we need to switch back to the main actor because we need to update the publish property in the UI thread. Otherwise, it will cause an issue when we update it in a other thread. Okay, so inside here, we also need to put the weak self. Be careful here, and then if the task is already cancelled, we just return. Okay, then I'm going to also animate this. So this is the magic of SwiftUI. Whenever we put this with animation, whenever we update the publish property used in the view, it will automatically animate everything for you. Okay, that is very nice actually. Self output and a bit of magic, I think. Text, passing the text, original text, and then passing the string tokens and the tokens integer. And also set is tokenizing back to false. Okay, I think this is the implementation, all the implementation for the view model. Okay, that's it, as simple as that. Now let's go to the tokenizer view implementation. Let's navigate to the tokenizer view. Okay, and let's look at a state object property wrapper, and then assign it with the var VM, and then initialize tokenizer view model instance. Next, let's look at a focus state. This is to control the focus state of the input text field, so we can dismiss the keyboard programmatically. Okay, so let's just give it a name of var is focused. The type should be Boolean. Okay, and then let's create a var input section. So this will contain the input section inside the list, some view, the current section, and then in here replace the text hello world with the input section. Okay, inside the input section, first we have the text field, and then here let's use this title text axis. Okay, for the placeholder, let's give it a name. Let's pass enter text to tokenize. And for the text binding, we can access it from the vm.inputText publish property. And we want to make this text field expand, have a multi-line support, right? In case we have a long text. So we're going to pass axis vertical. And I think this is only available on iOS 16. So there you go. And next, we need to attach the focus state in here using this focused. And then we can use this $sign prefix and pass the focus state is focused. Okay. And next one is I want to limit the number of lines that can be expanded for this text field. So we can pass a range actually, the minimum and the maximum line. I want the minimum to be 4 and then the maximum to be 12 lines. So if you see in the preview, that is the minimum, it's 4 lines. Nice, right? And if you add more character in here, more text, and it will expand automatically. But the limit will be 12 lines. After that, it will be basically a scrolling. You can scroll inside that text field. Okay. Then next, let's declare a toolbar. I want to declare a toolbar inside this keyboard. So basically, we can declare a toolbar right in here, attach it to the text field, and then we can use this toolbar item placement. Okay, and then for the placement, you need to pass keyboard, right? It will be now put inside the keyboard. So I want to have a button in here. Let's put it in the hashtag spacer, push it to the trailing edges, and then I have a button done as a title, and the action we just set the is focus false. So this will dismiss the keyboard. Let me just show you, okay, in the preview. First, I think I'm too big in here. Let me resize myself. Okay. So inside here, you can resume the preview. Let me show the keyboard. Yeah, if you see, right, there should be a keyboard button, and I think there's a glitch in the preview, right? And then we have this done button. You can assume this is the keyboard. So when I tap this done, it will dismiss the keyboard. Okay, nice, right? So there you go for the toolbar for the keyboard to dismiss the keyboard programmatically. And next one, after the text field, let's have another row for the containing an edge tag for the buttons. We will have 2 buttons. First one is clear. It's a very simple. We're going to put it inside the with animation in here. And then we simply set the input text to empty. And I'm going to also set the is focus to false to dismiss the keyboard. Okay. Next one is I want to add several modifiers, sorry. So I want to set the button style to bordered prominent. Looks nice. And then I want to add a disable. Okay. So when the input text is empty, we just disable the button. Nice, right? And next one, beside the button, we have the show example button, just like the one from the OpenAI website, Tokenizer website. This will basically provide this default text. Okay. And let me basically copy. You can copy and paste this and declare a variable at the bottom in here. So I'm just going to copy and paste here from the complete project. So this is the example text which I copied from here. Right? I'm using the Swift multi-line string literal in here. Okay, so as always, We can also put this inside the animation with animation closure. So it will animate. Set the input text to the example text, and then set the is focus also in case it is true, set it also to false. Okay, there you go. We have the button. So maybe I can try. Before that, I want to also have this button style bordered prominent. Looks nice. And I want to disable this button in case the input text side view model is equal with the example text. Okay, let's try. Click this show example. Nice. There you go. We have that kind of bouncy animation, right? And let me clear. Nice. Nice. Okay, we have the buttons to clear and show the example text. Okay. I think we need a little bit of padding in here. Maybe vertical of 2 inside the for this hashtag. Yeah, this looks nice. And inside this section itself, I want to pass a header here, passing the title, input. Okay, so this is the title, header, input. Okay, that's it for the input section. Now we can move to the output section. Okay, so let's declare also a var for the output section with type of some view, opaque view, and then put this below the input section. Okay, nice. Now let's begin the implementation here, declare a section. And first I want to declare a footer to explain what this app is all about. Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste this footer right in here from the complete project. So this is the footer. So mostly this text I just copy and paste it here from this tokenizer OpenAI website, right? So I want to display those information text inside a footer inside the section. So I'm going to add this header, okay, and also footer. So for the header, it's very simple. If the output is it's not nil, right, I'm going to display a text output. But in case it is nil, I won't display it. And then we have the footer. We can simply pass the footer text. And let me add a bit of padding at the top. In case output is not nil, I'm going to set the padding to 8. Otherwise, I'm just going to put it in 0. Okay, nice. Now we can implement the body of the section, the content of the section. First one is I want to display the content of the section only if the output exists. So we're going to use if let output vm.output, right? Remember that this output is the result of the tokenizing of original string. Okay, so declare a vstack, set the alignment as leading. Okay, and first one, let's put declare a stack. Okay, we want to display the number of tokens count and the number of characters count. Okay, and let's declare a vstack. Inside of vstack, declare text tokens and set the font to sub headline. Next one, text. And here I want to pass I want to use this string interpolation. Output dot, sorry, the name is output, show the output. Okay, the tokens dot count. Okay, so we need to find a way to mock the input text for so it can produce the output on the preview, right? So we can see the result as we implement this. So for now, I'm just going to put an on appear modifier in here. Later we will delete this after we have implemented the output section. I'm just going to put the input text with the text, which I'm going to just copy from here, okay, or anything you want to use, okay. And let's try to run this. Okay, nice. So basically it will run the app end to end, right? Whenever this input text change, the combined publisher observation will be executed and it will tokenize, producing the output in here. Okay, so this will help us on previewing as we implement the output section. Okay, now let's continue in here. So output text output.tokens.con. In here, I want to set the font to headline. Yeah, this looks good. And let me copy this fish tag and paste it below and change the tokens in here. So let's assign this to characters. And then in here, let's just assign output.text.count. Yeah, looks good. And then in here, I'm going to assign a modifier frame with the max width of infinity, so it detects all the horizontal space in that row. And then I'm going to set the alignment to center. Yeah, this looks good. And then I'm going to put a divider between the fish tag divider, and let's assign a frame with the height of 32. Yeah, looks good. Nice. Okay, now we have the row for the tokens and characters count. Next one is below this h tag, okay. Let's continue. Below this h tag, let's put a picker in here. Give it a text of output type, subtitle, and we need to pass the selection binding in here. So we can use the vm.output type publish property that we have created before in the view model. And then inside, just the first selection is text, and we need to put the tag modifier passing the output type dot text enum case. Okay, copy, paste, change the second one to token IDS, and the tag is output type dot token IDS. And let's set the picker style to segmented. Nice, right? Looks good. And next one, we have two different kind of output type, right? So we're going to use switch in here, and then based on the output type, we will display a different output result. Okay, first one is text. Okay, for text, I'm going to just put the output. For now, I'm just going to put the using this string interpolation output dot token string tokens dot description. Okay, this is for now. And then the second one is for the token IDs. So in here, just let's say we're going to print the array using the output.tokens. This is the integer array and description. And for this, I'm going to set the text selection to enable and multi-line text element to leading and padding to vertical. You will see later why I don't put this modifiers like this. Okay. Yeah, looks nice. For the token IDs, we have this array of integer tokens. Amazing, right? And for the text, it's now printing the array tokens, right? But this is not one we want to achieve. We want to achieve special UI, which is this one. So we want to have this kind of tokenization. So for every token, this character string token, we have a background color to represent, right? We'll be able to show, hey, this is this. Many is one token. Space words is the second token. Space map is the third token. It is easy, right? Because we already have this tokenization of the string for each of the string. Okay, but to display this background color for each token string, that is maybe the thing that we need to think about, right? Okay. And you know, right? If you're thinking about attributed string, you are correct, right? We are going to use attributed string basically to have this kind of UI for the text display. And for now, I don't think any SwiftUI view have the capability to accept attributed string. And basically on UIKit, we are using UI text view, right? So for now, we should be able to achieve the similar thing if we use UI text view. And for that, we need to wrap the UI text view from the UI kit inside a UIViewRepresentable, so it can be displayed inside SwiftUI view. Okay, that is the next thing that we are going to do inside our project. Inside this XCAChatGPT folder, create a new Swift file, give it a name of TextView, and basically name here just import SwiftUI, and the class struct, give it a name of TextView, and make it conform to the UIViewRepresentable. Okay, it's a wrapper for the UI for SwiftUI view. First, I'm going to basically declare an array containing these colors. Okay, there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 colors, right? So I'm just going to copy and paste this from the completed project. You can also do the same. You can simply go to the main branch for the ChatGPT SwiftUI repository in here, and then you can take a look inside this text view and copy and paste this. Or maybe if you want to use different colors, you can also do it. Okay, so we have 6 colors. I'm going to put this inside the array. Okay, and next one is output. We will inject this letter, and now we need to declare the make UI view. In here, let's just return UI text view, and let's just declare text, let text view, initialize UI text view, and I want to max this text view is editable property to false. I don't want the user to edit this text view. Okay, and then I'm going to return the text view. Next one is the update UI view. So in here, let me change the internal parameter name to text view, and let's declare an attributed text. Okay, so this is a foundation type, so it's a reference type. So we need to use NS mutable attributed string. Okay, just initialize this. We will append this based on the string tokens array. Inside here, we can simply access the array string tokens and then invoke enumerated. Okay, we will need the index. You will see why in a second. Okay, and then for each, it will give us the indexed and the string element, okay, that we are looping. So first, let's declare an attributes dictionary. The key is ns attributed string dot key, and the value is any. Okay, the first value is the font. Okay, I'm going to use the UI font, preferred font for text style. I'm going to assign it with the body. Second one is the kern. I want to add a bit spacing between the characters. If you see in here, it's a bit of spacing, right? So I want to add the kern, assign it to 1. And set one, I want to put the background color. So in here, we are going to access this colors array, and then we are going to use modulo. Okay, the first one is index. So the index that we are looping, we are going to modulo it using this person operator. This is called modulo. It will give us the remainder of the division. So here I will modulo it the colors, the number of array inside these colors, which is 6. Okay, so it will keep on repeating 0 1 2 3 4 5 0 1 2 3 4 5 until the end. Okay, that's the trick. And then let's just declare the attributed token text. In here, I'm going to initialize an attributed string, passing the string that we are currently looping in, and then assign the attributes dictionary. And then I can simply invoke the attributed text append, okay, and assign it with the attributed token text, attributed string. Okay, and now we can use this text view dot attributed text and then assign it with the attributed text that we have enumerated and injected with all the string tokens in here. Okay, so yeah, this is basically the text view, right? This is pretty simple, right? Nice. Now we can access this text view, which is backed by the new TextKit 2, I think, which was introduced back then, probably 2020, 2021. Okay, maybe someday, maybe this year, they will introduce TextKit API, TextKit view specific for SwiftUI. I'm not sure. Okay, so inside the text case, the switch, we can simply replace this with the text view and passing the output. Okay, for the height, for now, it doesn't support dynamic height, but I'm just going to pass a hard-coded value of 240. Nice, right? There we go. We have the background color for each of the token. This is nice, right? Amazing. Love this. Show example. Wow, nice. This is nice. Okay. Okay, one final touch in here. So inside after this show example button, I want to add a bit of spacer. Okay. So here, let's add a spacer. And then if the view model is tokenizing, publish property is true, I'm just going to display a progress view. Okay, just to give a visual indicator to the UI in case the processing get too long, right? So the user knows that this is currently in progress, right? The tokenization process. So if you see here, it will be shown in here. Okay, let me try again. You see there. So yeah, this is the tokenizer screen. And now let's connect it to the ChatGPT SwiftUI app that we have created previously. So let's go to the XCAChatGPT app. Okay, so inside this, let's declare a state. Var is showing tokenizer. Okay, set this to false as the default value. And then we are going to put an additional toolbar item here. So declare a toolbar item with the placement and pass navigation bar leading and declare a button, give it a name of tokenizer, and just set the is showing tokenizer is to true. Okay, and let's disable it while the view model is interacting with the ChatGPT. Okay, we don't want to show the tokenizer while we are waiting for the ChatGPT to respond to the answer. Okay, and finally, what we need to do is inside this, let's find the navigation stack. Okay, this one. Inside here, in here, just add this modifier full screen cover, passing the binding of is showing tokenizer. Okay, so the content, let's declare another struct in here. Okay, navigation token view. Let's declare an environment with the key path of environment with the key path of dismiss. Okay, and give it a name of dismiss. Body some view. Let's declare the body. I'm going to put a navigation stack inside for the tokenizer view in here, and then I'm going to declare a toolbar. Okay, basically we need to find a way to dismiss the full screen cover, right? So we can use this toolbar content, and we can use the toolbar item placement, pass the navigation bar trailing, and then we can simply invoke this environment of dismiss. I think I need to declare a button in here, close, and then in the action invoke the dismiss. And then I want to make sure this interactive dismiss disable is added in here, so it cannot be dismissed when the user swipes. But I'm not sure if this is required for the full screen cover, but if it is not, you can just remove it, okay? But for the sheet, you can add this if you use the sheet modifier, right? If you don't want the user to dismiss it by swiping down, you can add this modifier. Okay, then inside this full screen cover content, you can just declare navigation token view. Okay, let me run the app in the simulator for the final E2E test. Okay, so this is the XCAChatGPT app that we have previously built to interact with the ChatGPT API, right? Right now we don't have the API key, so it will throw this error. To go to the tokenizer screen, we can just simply tap this tokenizer button from the navigation bar leading. Okay, this is the initial screen. Looks nice, right? And let's try to copy this. Okay, 44 tokens, 244 characters. Okay, let's copy, paste. Okay, 44 tokens with the 244 characters, and here's the representation of the token. Nice, right? So there is one, and then we have this spacing ng as the second token, and so on. Okay, nice. We have successfully implemented this GPT Tokenizer native SwiftUI app, and also you can use this GPT Tokenizer library, GPTEncoder library, if you, inside your own project if you want, right? This also helps if you want to calculate how many, if you have using the OpenAI API, right? Because it uses tokens to determine the cost of your usage. So it will help if you're able to basically count the number of tokens inside your strings before making the API call. Okay. And as the model will grow larger, I think in the GPT-4 later they will have 8K token support, and even I heard maybe 32K token support in GPT-4. That is a large number of tokens, and if you not be careful, you will pay a lot of money, right, when making the prompt with a large number of tokens. So having this tokens count will actually help you to mitigate that issue. Okay. So that's it for this video. Like the video if you like, subscribe if you want, and thanks for supporting me. And let's see now. I think the ChatGPT is evolving rapidly. I don't know what the future will hold, but for now we can just still keep on growing and being a lifelong learner. So that's it. Until the next video, goodbye.